All right, hey boys and girls, we're going to talk about the causes that get us to the Great Depression. All right, so we're going to start by talking about the Roaring Twenties. We just got done with it. It's this time of, businesses are doing well, industry's doing well, mass producing cars, radios, refrigerators, you name it. People are buying stuff. Everyone feels like this is, oh, this is the best ever. Okay, confidence. People like what's going on overall. Okay. Now, there's kind of two sides to the Roaring Twenties. Business does well. Farmers do not do well, and we'll talk about that in a moment here. Okay, the black population does not do well. Yeah, there's the Harlem Renaissance, but again, that's just one tiny pocket of African Americans in the United States. Overall, blacks do not do very well in the 20s. Okay, recent immigrants, no way. We talked about that quota system, KKK. Nativism, no, recent immigrants do not do well. Okay, so again, you have businesses do well, but the middle class and the lower class do not do well in the 20s. Okay, now it's often seen that the 20s are kind of this calm before the storm. Things maybe look okay on the outside before we get nailed in the Great Depression. Now, before we get going, every year, all right, kids are like, oh man, depression, that must have been really sad. Yeah, kind of, but you're not thinking, we're talking about an economic depression, okay? So we just got out of our recession, or we might still be in it. Some say we're in, some say we're not, okay? A recession is when you have several months of slow growth or economic decline, okay? Depression, you're looking at a much larger scale, all right? The Great Depression is going to be over 10 years of economic horrible economic times. Okay, old joke goes something like this: a recession is when your neighbor loses their job, and a depression is when you lose your job. Okay, so we're going to look at the Great Depression, the worst economic decade, a little over a decade that the United States has ever seen, and how we got there. Okay, first cause number one. All right, you have the 1920s. The rich are getting very rich, all right? The poor are getting much poorer. Think about Monopoly that we played, okay? The top hat, the car, they're getting super rich in that middle year, okay? The poor, the wheelbarrow, the farmer, not so much, okay? Now, you got to think about this. 70% of the American population is earning less than a minimum wage here, a minimum standard of living, $2,500 a year. Okay, that's 50 bucks a week. 70% of the United States is earning less than that. Okay, on top of that, you have this super mega rich class, the 0.1%. Okay, the top 0.1% have as much income as the bottom 42%. So, oh man, Mr. Flynn, that's a lot of numbers. What are you talking about? Okay, a small group of super rich people have all the money, and the bottom are extremely poor. 70% of the country, isn't even making a decent living. Okay, this same top 1% has most of the nation's savings, while 80% of the people have no savings at all. So when something happens, we're going to see how this plays out. Okay, you have the mega rich John D. Rockefeller. Just this one man. Okay, one person has 2% of the gross national product. Okay, John D. Rockefeller is often seen as the richest person to ever live. Okay, and then again, you have farmers. Making up 40% of the country are making even less, than your average person. So again, cause number one: super rich and a ton of poor people. Okay, now second cause, 40% of the country is farming. All right, well, demand goes down after World War I. Less people, the soldiers, we don't need as much product. So this is economics 101. When demand goes down, okay, prices drop. Okay, farmers can't pay their debts. All right, now Congress looks to pass something called price supports, that the government will buy the leftover crops to make sure that the prices are stabilized. Okay, President Coolidge says no. Okay, not going to buy the leftovers. So basically, number one, uneven distribution of wealth. Two, farmers, which make up 40% of the United States, the prices of their goods is going down at a very fast rate, and no one is really helping them out. Okay, now, third reason. Okay, this is all kind of piling up. All right, after World War I, Europe's economy is destroyed. I mean, that's where all the fighting is going on. France, Austria-Hungary, Russia, Germany. Okay, now the United States wants to make sure that American businesses do well. All right, now they passed something called the Tariff Act of 1930. Okay, now let me explain how this kind of works. All right, the United States wants Americans to buy American products. Okay, so let's say you have steel and it costs $100 a shipment. All right, and you have Canadian steel and it's normally $90 a shipment. Okay, so the Canadian steel might look better. So what the United States does is we raise tariffs. Tariffs are taxes on the imports. Okay, so now let's say we put a $25 tariff on the Canadian steel. Okay, now that American steel is cheaper. All right, so yeah, Americans are going to buy American because the foreign products are more expensive when you add in that tax. Well, what happens is every other country raises their tariffs. Everyone else raises their taxes to keep up with the United States taxes, and pretty soon world trade drops by 40%. Nobody's trading with anybody because of these taxes. Okay, so number one, uneven distribution of wealth. Two, farming problems. The farming prices go down. Three, after World War I, these taxes are so high that trade goes down big time. All right. Now, the next issue, number four. Okay, during the 20s, there's this time of everyone's buying these new products, these new cars, refrigerators, radios, living the good life. The problem is a lot of these people are buying it on credit. Okay, buy now, pay later, which again seems like a good idea, but if you lose your job and you have a bunch of debt, not good for you. Okay, so businesses are giving out easy credit, consumers are piling up huge debts. Okay, and when this all kind of comes crumbling down, people are stuck with these huge bills that they can't pay. Okay, so that's number four. Now, five, when you think about how banks make their money, okay, you look at some of the nicest buildings in town, they're banks. There's a reason, okay? How banks make their money. Now, let me kind of explain this, all right? In the start of the 1920s, there's about 30,000 banks in the United States. Some of these banks are not, most of them are not regulated. There's no kind of rules governing. If you want to start your own bank, you can start your own bank. Okay? A lot of these are small, rural, okay? It's going to be a problem, all right? Now, how banks make their money. If I go put my money in the bank, all right, and they give me a little piece of paper that says, I just put in $1,000, okay? The bank then takes that money, my money, and loans it out to other people at a higher interest rate. So the bank is holding my money, they're loaning it out, these people are using it and paying back the bank even more money with the interest, okay? And it all works fine and dandy until you have a problem. What's going to happen is a lot of these banks, since they're not very stable, people start freaking out and they all go to the bank at the same time to take out their money. Well, where's that money? It ain't there, okay? The money is not there. And a lot of these banks, thousands of these banks are just going to say, we don't have your money, sorry, we're bankrupt, we're closing shop. That's a problem, okay? And what you have is massive numbers of banks closing and collapsing. Some people say that this is the biggest cause of the Great Depression because people that had their life savings, it's gone, okay? Because these banks closed down, all right? I mean, you see here, this bank run. I mean, people go into the bank. I need my money, I need my money, I need my money. The bank doesn't have it, okay? The bank shuts down, all right? And this is going to really cause huge problems for our economy. Okay, now the big one, okay, that everyone remembers, okay? the stock market crash. Now let's talk about this, all right? So when you buy stock, you are partially owning that company. So you want to own Apple, Google, Facebook, Nike, Starbucks, whatever, you can buy stock, okay? Now, how you make money is you buy stock at a lower price and then you sell it when it gets higher. That's basic, stock market 101, okay? Now, for example, in the 1920s, everybody's buying stock, and the prices are going up and up and up and up, and people are making a buttload of money. Okay, for example, RCA, the Radio Corporation of America, their stocks were $11 in 1924. In just 5 years, it goes up 936%. Okay, so you can make a ton of money in the stock market. Now, the opposite of that is if you buy it high and the value goes down and you sell it, you're going to lose money. Okay, so that same RCA stock that was 114 in 1929 goes down, to $10 a share in 1931. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Now, and the way I think about this, it's kind of like eBay. All right, you have an item in eBay. If a bunch of people want it, they all are buying it, they're buying it, they're buying it, the price is going up, 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 up. Okay? Now, the more people that buy a certain stock, the higher the price goes up. Okay? Just like in eBay. The more people that are bidding on an item, the price goes up. Now, what's going to happen is everyone's going to sell at the same time, and the prices are going to go down big time. Okay? Now, on top of that, people are getting into the stock market and they're buying on margin, which means they're borrowing money to put it in the stock market. So they're not even using their money. So when the stock market prices go down, not only do they lose money, they're also in debt. Okay? They're also engaging in something called speculation, when you're just kind of almost gambling. You're gambling, you think you go, oh yeah, quick profit, get rich quick. Okay? Putting money in stocks that are maybe a little iffy. Okay, so they're buying iffy stocks and they're using borrowed money. Not good. Okay, now what's going to happen is industry's doing well, prices are going up, people are buying stocks, making huge profits, getting rich very quickly. All right, more people invest, which means, again, the prices are going higher and higher and higher, and they're buying on margin, and it's going great, and everything's going well. And then the stock market is going to crash because this bubble bursts, okay? And people freak out, and they take their money out. And on October 29th, 1929, what we call Black Tuesday, the stock market crashes, okay? Now, you think about this. Here's your kind of an example. The stock market roller coaster, it's going up and up and up and up and up. But then when it crashes, straight down. And that looks like a pretty sweet roller coaster, but not with my money. Use someone else's money. Okay? Now you see this Roaring Twenties stock prices going up. All right, Black Tuesday, almost a straight downfall. And then once we get in the Great Depression, we're going to see it go down, 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 down. Okay? Now, the example I like to use, okay, for this causes is this iceberg. Okay, the stock market crash is the tip of the iceberg. Everyone sees it. Yeah, stock market crash. That's what caused the Great Depression. Okay, well, just like with the Titanic, if it was just this top thing, the Titanic would have pushed that sucker out of the way. The big issues are what lay beneath the surface. Okay, this how society is set up. You have foreign markets that are horrible. Okay, people are making too much goods. People are, the farming problems. Okay, the banking problems, buying on credit. All right, all of these problems lay beneath the surface. And what we're going to see is when the stock market crashes, all of this explodes, and we are going to get into the worst economic times ever. Okay, so we'll talk more about this tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.